Hi, this is Rabbi Chaim Kaufman. Welcome to our 249th installment in the Torah portion of the week. We are holding by Parshas Tetzaveh. Parshas Tetzaveh talks about the oil, the pure olive oil that was pressed, the Kohanim in their vestments, what they wore when they served in the temple. We're talking about the ephod, the breastplate, the Urim V'Tumim, the robe, and all that, the inauguration ritual, a lot of things. A lot of things over here. Torah tells me, chapter 29, verse 36. Torah says the bull, sin offering, shall you make for each day. For atonement, you shall purify the altar. By bringing atonement for it, you shall anoint it to sanctify it. Right, so here, what's the Torah telling me? The Torah telling me you're going to bring the sin offering, this bull, as atonement, and that's going to purify the altar. Come on, Rashi. What does Rashi here tell me? Rashi here says, brings down from a medrash, and he says that the Mizbeach, the altar, needs atonement. Why? Because maybe a person gave something stolen. And he gave something stolen to the Mishkan. Something stolen to put on the altar. Says, Rebbe Arav Agon Moshe Stormach Shlita should be well. He brings down Chochmah V'das. He says like this. He says, the wonder over here. That what? They're only allowed to take things for the tabernacle, things for the Mishkan, someone who's giving of their own free will. Someone's going to give from deep in their heart. Right? And not somebody who's going to steal. This someone's going to give for their own free will. They're going to give from the bottom of their hearts. Says my Rebbe, I don't understand. Why would we think they're going to steal? Why would we think they're going to steal something and then give it to the tabernacle, right? Give it to the Mizbeach, put it on the altar. Because if a person is doing that for atonement, right, he wants to gain atonement, how's it going to help? How's it going to help if he puts something up there and it's no good? Gets from stealing. Doesn't everyone know that God hates people that steal? Right, so what's he gaining over here? That's the question. So he says, and he brings down from the Ger Rebbe. The Ger Rebbe says and explains from Targum Yonasan, from the commentary of Yonatan ben Uziel. It doesn't mean we're worried the person stole. That wouldn't make any sense over here. Right? Because someone's going to give their own free will, their own heart. Why would they steal? Not talking about stealing per se. But maybe he gave without a full heart. Maybe he gave because he's embarrassed. Or maybe the people that want him to give, maybe they're pushing him to give. They're putting pressure on him. So by the Mizbeach, by the altar, by the Mishkan, the tabernacle, that's like Gezem. Unbelievable. He's giving with a full heart. Or seemingly with a full heart. That's why he's giving. But if his intention is, okay, I'll give, because they're embarrassed. They'll give because, someone's putting pressure on them. That's considered stealing. He says my Rebbe, you see over here, how far the Torah is going to take into accounting of stealing, God forbid. That even a person gave for their own free will, but he didn't give with a full heart, That's already disgusting to collect and give. It's like stealing. And that you need atonement for. Even after the fact that you already gave. And you didn't have charata, you didn't feel bad, you didn't have remorse. But to give something to the temple, to the altar, no good. No good over here. Right? It's an absolute wonder. Right? It's considered like stealing. So not only that, what it's a warning. The Rebbe here says, someone who's collecting money, right, for whatever institution, whatever it is. He says they should not pull any pressure on the person. Because, what does God want? God wants a person to give with a full heart. That's what He wants. He wants a person to give with a full heart. And if he's getting pressure put on, he's not giving with a full heart. But the whole thing's a wonder. Because my Rebbe here mentions, a person's giving b'nedivas libo. He's giving from the bottom of his heart. He wants to give. Right? He wants to give charity over here. So how can we look at it like stealing? So God's gonna dig deep into our kishkes, into our insides. And what's God gonna say? Okay, let's see why He gave this charity. Did He give it with a full heart? Half a heart? Did He give because, okay, let me just get rid of this person. Let me just give. That money's tainted. It's as if he's stealing. He didn't give with a full heart. There are levels of giving charity. Giving charity, better to give smaller amounts to a lot of people than one lump sum. So you learn how to give. So you learn how to put your hand in your pocket. But at the same time, a person can be inundated with people. People come day and night when you're in synagogue. Right? So a person might get flustered. Might get frustrated. Might just like, go here, go. You don't give with a happy face. But you go because you give because you feel like you have to give. He's saying you need atonement for that. Even after the fact you gave. You need atonement. So we need to know how to give. And if you don't know how to give properly, you lose. You need atonement even for that giving. Good question if you get any credit at all. Especially if you're giving to something holy. You're giving something holy over here. Say to the temple. To the Mishkan. You need atonement. Why? As if he stole. He didn't give with a full heart. He gave maybe because there are other people giving. It was bad if he didn't give. If he doesn't have a lot to give, doesn't matter. But the fact that he didn't want to give, or he gives out of pressure, or he gives out because he's embarrassed, and everyone else is giving, but okay. That's as if he stole. That's if he didn't have a full heart. All the more so if he gets flustered and angered, says, here, just take the money, go. That's worse. That's for sure to give with a full heart. Good question whether he's going to get credit for it or not. We have to know how to give. Right? It's something we have to be trained in. Right? Parent has to train their kids from a young age. Someone comes to the door collecting for whatever. I mean, you have to give a lot, even if you don't have a lot. So give them something, a pleasant face. What if you don't even have that to give? You don't have money to give. You invite him in, give him a drink, give him words of encouragement. That's even worth more than money. I have someone come on a regular basis. I lived in America. Came from Israel. So I always like these Israeli collectors, working my Hebrew, whatever. And whenever he came in, sat down, got him a drink. I didn't have much money to give. But we had a whole schmooze. He's telling me his whole story. And what happened. So I offered him ice cream. He was like totally taken aback. And I said, I didn't have what to give. I didn't give that much. Right? But I know, someone going door to door, tremendously embarrassing. Have to raise money for themselves or whatever the case is. But even if I couldn't give a lot, made them feel good. I was even worth more than money. Worth much more than money. So if a person can't give words of encouragement. Hear them out, let them talk, let them have a seat, give them a cup of coffee, something. Because they don't like what they're doing. I don't think anyone likes doing that. They'd rather make money on their own. They don't have to depend on others. Right? If we had more money, we should give more money. We don't always have. Sometimes we never have. So we give what we can give. But we have to be trained to give. We have to be trained even to give a little bit. Because we're not always, in a good situation. Sometimes you have more, give more. Not saying everyone who comes collecting give them ice cream. Not saying that. But at the same time, we got to make them feel good. Got to give them encouragement. Because people come collecting, everyone's got a story. Unfortunately, not a shortage. And if we're doing okay, we don't want to be on that end. We don't want to be on the other side. Anyone who's been on both sides knows. They know the good times, they know the bad times. And they're embarrassed. So a person shouldn't say, oh, another one coming to the door. Another one coming to the door. Tell them we're not home. Tell them that no. If you can't give them anything, give them words of encouragement. Even if you can only give them a little. Because that sticks with a person. Then they say, oh, just another number, another person, another story, another this. Okay, what's your story? They don't want to feel, most people's story is not unique. A lot of similar stories going around. I'm not saying they're all the same. Each one is their own person, it's their own world. We have to show compassion. It's one of the things that makes a Jew a Jew. We're Rahmanim. We have compassion for others. The Jews today are the biggest givers of charity combined than anyone else. Nothing to talk about. It's in our psyche to give. It's in our psyche to want to help. But if you look at, another one, you lose the merit to give. Not only that, what you have could be taken away. So I can tell you, being on both sides, it's better to give than to have to receive. It's embarrassing. Even if putting your best foot forward, you are working, whatever. It's embarrassing. People get in difficult situations. Not necessarily the fault of their own. Sometimes it is. But someone comes, knocks on the door. How much do I have to investigate them to see if they're real? So in a lot of places, they're going to have to come with a card saying they've already been vetted by this community. The person's legit, let's say. Right? Could there be fakes out there? Yeah. You can say, hey, so I gave money to a fake. Still get credit. But I'm saying, if you don't give that much money anyway, okay. You have to know who the person is. You're going to give, a nice size of money. Nice size amount. But most people are going to come to the door, you don't know them. If they tell you their story, you're going to give them a certain amount. You're not going to give them much more. Unless you know them, whatever. But I hear ringing in my ears all the time. You'd rather be on that side than the other side. Meaning the side to be able to give. So if a person has, you give with a smile. You give willingly. Should never ever feel pressure. That's what my Rebbe here is saying. If you're giving because you feel pressured, you lose it. It's like stealing. So people that collect money have to know this also. They're not allowed to put pressure on others. A person knocks on the door. I'm collecting for this institution, whatever. You tell the story. And if they have a merit to give, they'll give. And if not, okay. Or maybe they have a lot of money, they're just going to give you a little bit. Whatever it is. But you're not allowed to put pressure on people either. That you make them lose the mitzvah. Because then they feel resentful. And once they feel resentful after the fact, they lose it. So you have to want to give. Right? Especially to the temple, something holy. You give whatever you can give. But it's going to a good cause. Right? To a synagogue, to a yeshiva, to rabbinic scholars. Right? Orphans, widows, needy brides. These are all good things. You don't lose out by giving. Because one thing you have to realize, what you have is not yours. It's only on loan. They say, God giveth, God taketh away also. God can make someone successful and then take it away. You take it away. We have to learn how to give. But we have to realize, giving's a merit. If you have the ability to give, you should give. And know how to give. Because otherwise it'll be held against you. You might be called a thief. Get upstairs, God said, you thief! What do you mean? You're going to say, look, this charity you gave under duress. You didn't do it with a full heart. Then imagine the heavenly dollar bill smacking you upside the head. Or euros or whatever. You can say, I stole. You didn't do it with a full heart. This is what my Rebbe here is saying. Because the person looks at it, putting pressure on me, fine, I'll give. Is that the same giving with a full heart? No. It's like you stole, so you got to think. Remember what I'm telling you. It's coming from experience. If you got the ability to give, you should give. Whatever you can give. Because if you don't give what you're supposed to give, God's going to say, what did I give it to you for? And He can take it away. Now, if a person had and they're successful, and then it turns, and you're on the other side, you'll get the message. You don't want to be on the other side. You want to get the message first. And then you take it to heart and you give, and you give, and you give, and you help others, and that's going to give you unbelievable merit for all generations. I want to remind everyone I have a class on duties of the heart every Tuesday. 9 o'clock Eastern Time, Gate of Self-Accounting. Every Sunday, packed day on Sunday, 9 o'clock in the morning Eastern Time, 4 o'clock Israel Time is the book of Leviticus, chapter 16. We're still speaking about the sin of Nadav and Avihu. Chapter 16, book of Leviticus. And after that is Tanakh Talk, 12:30 Eastern Time, 7:30 Israel Time. Controversial issues, Noahide Nations, 2:30 Eastern Time, 9:30 Israel Time on Noahide laws. Every Tuesday, Thursday, I do a Q&A. 10 o'clock Eastern Time, 5 o'clock Israel Time. Every Saturday, 2 o'clock Eastern Time, 9 o'clock Israel Time. Pirkei Avos, Ethics for Fathers. I also have conversion classes. So anyone interested in any of this, find me on Facebook at Michael Chaim Kaufman, or be on Orthodox Conversion Judaism. And you can send me an email, rabbichaimkaufman@gmail.com, RBBIChaimCoffman@gmail.com.